I was definitely very shy as a kid. I'm often known as the quiet one, especially in my family. I generally have felt on the edge and outside of things. I need time to myself, especially after kind of group thing. Say more introverted than extroverted, although when I say that out loud publicly, people just go, are you kidding me? You know, because they see me in a work context when I'm kind of doing this work extrovert, this extrovert kind of in.
That's exactly the specific thing that they find hard, like finding that motivation to actually speak up, being heard, getting people's attentions and being heard, a difficult thing for you.
Mostly when I'm trying to fight for the right thing, like fight for justice or something, and usually on behalf of someone else rather than myself. It's less about me being heard. It's more about helping make sure someone else is being heard or something else is being represented, the warrior or something, like a fighter for justice. And so when I hear things that I feel need to be challenged, I get a lot of kind of this temperament. It's interesting to relate the two, actually. I kind of get a fire build up and I have to let it out. The difficulty is how I let it out is often not as, can be quite surprising to people when they're used to me being this kind of like absorber of stuff and good listener and stuff. And so when I kind of switch to saying the thing with lots of clarity and a harder edge to it, it can be problematic, not being heard. And this experience where you kind of say something, contribute an idea, and no one really responds, and then someone else then says exactly the same thing, and then there's like rapturous applause, and maybe there's a meekness or a kind of a lack of confidence and conviction around the thought. And so I started to kind of feel like I had to kind of present it with much more clarity, a bit more forcefully than I would have liked. And I got heard through analysis. I came up with these different terms of being team player, empathy, pragmatism, and none of them are really kind of technical skills. Essentially, we started kind of getting people to just kind of fill out and self-reflect and to leadership with something which I created with Martina Hodges-Shell, where the interesting one with this is you might have aspects of, you know, where you spend your time, all these different shapes within the leadership team and what they prefer, they like, and where they feel most comfortable. I basically kind of created a whole bunch of different frameworks used to see themselves differently. In some ways, it's kind of depersonalizes it and externalizing it from in your head and in the way you feel through a bunch of prompts, and then seeing that kind of makes it feel like, oh, this is me. It's a kind of like a different mirror. But doing this kind of helped to ground me and to kind of get a sense of where I was currently at, and then made me think about what I might want to do. So 25 odd tools, and they kind of relate to different kind of modes almost.
What you just showed there, and the fact that you've done this for 20 years, it just comes across like, you know, you have this all figured out. Like, is that true?
No, I just have doubt all the time. No, not at all. I think that I always worry about kind of what people are going to say about it, whether it's good enough. I've been, like I say, I've been doing it for 20 years. I should feel more comfortable when I go into a meeting or run a workshop, but I still get the anxiety. I still fear what might happen. I'm still trying to figure out who I am and what I really am.
Jason, Mesut, we are over time. Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.